fluky my number sometimes too, eh, Paul?
Yeah.
Oh.
Maybe something to do.
They seriously do a good job.
Yeah, yes, yeah. They go there.
People like this deserve knighthoods.
Need to be flat.
They do. I've got a guy out in the fire brigade. He's on the Senate committee, and his name's called Blowhole. Because all he does is play.
627 was 622 around, and it most likely be 627.
Okay.
I live in Netherby, Netherby one, so it only takes me about 2-3 minutes to get there.
Yeah.
So I catch trucks leaving and coming back.
Yeah. And I'm in 10-9% of the time anyway. If it's the average crap that... What's white helmet?
Opposite.
Oh.
White helmet will be Helen.
Is that white helmet? Marshall. Possibly.
My name is Jeff Marshall and I'm DCFO here in Ashburton Brigade. So today we're going to cut this car up for you, and got a crew here of experienced firefighters that have been through a training course for cutting up vehicles and bits and pieces, and we've got some newer members who are yet. Our roads are a big, long, flat and straight, so we have a lot of frontal impact type crashes. Whereas if you go to areas with windy roads and sort of in a country areas where the roads are windy, you get a lot of rollover type crashes. So rollover type crashes will have a lot of squashed roof, whereas because of our long straight roads here in Canterbury, our impacts are from the front. And so we can quite often have, if this was the right hand side of the car, we can quite often have this part of the car pushed right back, which makes it very difficult to do the extrication of our patients. But anyway, today we're going to start off with taking our glass management out, and that's our first thing, our first priority is to get access to our patients for the ambulance. So our first thing is to get rid of the glass as a safety thing, and then the next thing is to get the doors open as quickly as we can so that we can get the ambulance in to look after the patients. And then we are guided by them of what they want us to do. If it's an urgent, we'll focus on the urgent patient. If it's a not so urgent, we can focus on something else first. But anyway, as part of our safety, because I'm in the inner circle as well, I'll have to wear my helmet as well. But anyway, we'll get started. So we can see here the first thing we do is start our what we call our stabilization. And this is quite important so that when we are working around the car and working with the spreaders and the cutters, that the car doesn't rock around too much or move, because the safety of our patient is paramount. And so if you've got the car that's jiggling around and moving from pushing down and holds the floor in place, so that means our pressure from our rams will push upwards. So it just makes it easy for our job as well. So it looks like we've got Nick on the cutters and we've got Aaron on the spreaders. Jake's taking out our glass, so that's the first thing. The second thing we do, once we've done our stabilisation, we've been to our glass to make it safe for the patient and for ourselves. can tell that the side windows and the rear windows are all that little fine glass that breaks up into to take it out. But you'll see later when we go to do the front window, it's a laminated window. It does not break the same as the side ones. It's quite a lot different. So Scotty and Alan have just taken out the glass on the right-hand side of the vehicle on the driver's side. The dishwashing liquid that we've just poured across the window is to stop little fragments of glass when we put the reciprocating saw into the laminated window. And also, but the laminated glass also, the front window is laminated glass, which means it's got 2 layers of glass, and then between the 2 layers of glass, it has like a silicon. So the dishwashing liquid is to try and prevent as much as we possibly can that silicon from coming out and into the faces of the firefighters or our patients. So Aaron's just put a squash on the top of the door there, and what that does, it just opens up a very small gap at the back of the door so that he can then put the spreaders in and push it apart. So we've now pushed this into, normally that door would be jammed closed and you wouldn't very easily be able to just open the latch. So he's got that door pinched at the back. Now he's squeezed the guard up, which makes another gap at the front of the door, so then we can expose the hinges at the front of the door. Then we come in with the cutters and we can cut the hinges off the door, because quite often you can't open that door right up, and we want to get it right out of the road so we don't have to, it's not an impeding us, or it's not on our road or the patient's road. Makes it easier access for the ambulance. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to reverse the effects of an accident. So if you can imagine a frontal impact and it squashes the front back towards the patients in the car, we're going to try to reverse that by pushing the car back out to its more normal position to make it easier to get those patients out. So you can see the power of those cutters will just cut through those hinges very, very easily. And you'll see a better demonstration when we go to take the roof off. So you'll notice Hamish, the OIC, he doesn't get involved in the tools, on the tools as such. He's leaving that to his crew. So he's standing back and he's just watching what's going on. He's making his next plan on where he's going to cut next or push next or do whatever, but he's also looking at the patient safety and is also his crew safety. So you'll notice on those cutters that Nick's holding onto there, that the cutter tools on the end are actually got a little bit of an angle on them. And that little bit of an angle just makes it a little bit easier to get into some tight areas so that you're not sort of stuck in behind them when they cut in against the metal. Those spreaders and cutters have got huge power behind them. So now we've come around the other side, Aaron's come around the other side, he's going to squeeze this door up, which like I say, just opens up a small gap at the back of the door, and then he's able to get those spreaders in that little gap and hopefully be able to spread that door open. And that pops off that lock at the back. The spreaders and the cutters are quite weighty, they're quite heavy, and so it does take quite a bit of energy, and when the pressure's on, to manhandle those tools. And you you can get up a fair old sweat by the time you've been around what we call all the pillars, the 6 pillars, and finally get the roof off. You know you've done how to work out. Because this is a hatchback car, we also have to be careful of the hydraulic rams on the rear tail door. So they've taken the plastic off there just to see what's in behind there as much as they can see, and then they'll make a cut in there somewhere either above or below those rams on the tail door, wherever the officer in charge decides he wants to make those cuts. So there you see the little rams have just pushed that door open, the tail door opens. They're one of the hazards we do have to be very careful of. We need to know what's going to happen when we make those particular cuts. And when the OIC is looking at a car that's quite badly crashed up, he's going to be looking at where the pressure point is. Like if it was crashed in on this left-hand side here, there's going to be a lot of pressure on this, what we call the A pillar here, and so he has to be very careful and know where that's going to spring when he finally makes those final cuts. So there's a bit of science involved in where he's going to cut and which pillars he's going to cut first, second or last. So now we're getting everybody prepared. We're down to our last cut now, and we're getting everybody prepared around the roof so that they can lift that roof off without it dropping onto our patient. This is the most crucial part for us. There'll also be a decision made very quickly before which direction they're going to go to, so we don't want one side of the car going forward and one side of the car going backwards.
Right now, storage. Oh no.
So now our ambulance has got really, really good access to our patients. By taking the roof off, if we have a patient in the driver's seat who may have back injuries or something, the ambulance can slide a backboard in this direction, and we can quite easily just slide the patient straight up and back out over where that roof area was. The little yellow sheets they're putting on there is just protection for us and ambulance and patient. We don't want any sharp edges. So the idea of those is just to put over there the little plastic clips just to hold them in place so they're not flailing around or going to fall off. So what they're discussing is where we're going to put what we call a relief cut. So when we put a ram in there and start ramming that dash up, so if we've got a patient sitting in there and this whole bonnet, dash and steering wheel is pushed down on top of the patient, on top of his legs, so we want to be able to push that up, and we don't have to go far, we just need to push it up so that it relieves the steering wheel off the legs, and then we can very easily slide the patient out. But to do that, put that ram in there to push that up, we need to take a wee bit of strength out of the base of the car. So they're going to put a little what we call a relief cut down in there, and when they put the ram in there and start ramming the dash up, you'll see that the car pivots where that relief cut is. In situ, under pressure, and then connect the hose back up and take it out later. So Nick's putting in another relief cut in a horizontal position there. The other one was in a vertical position. This is what we call a horizontal relief cut. now Nick is going to put another relief cut on this side so that we can evenly take the pressure off the front of the car as we push the ram in and push the dash up. It releases as much of the strength out of the car as we can. As you can imagine, a lot of this is very time critical. And so we try to move as fast as we possibly can, but we also have to So the positioning of these rams is very crucial too. We need to put it in place and know that it's not going to slip. You can see now that that front is starting to pivot up, and it's pivoting on those relief cuts. And quite often we don't have to go far, to just take 3 or 4 inches off the top of the legs and let the patient be able to slid out. So that's about it, ladies and gentlemen. That's as much as we can do, and now we sort of hand over to ambos and let them perform their magic. And then once we've got our patients out, sent them away, then we go around and we'll tidy up all the gear and put it back in the truck, ready, refuel it and have it ready for next time. So thank you very much.
29.2 gigs left should.
Here we might be able to see a multi-box on the door. Can everyone see the multi-box, all the kids in the front?
Yeah.
Now, it was always something we say as we overload them, okay? Look at all the plugs hanging out of this. It's an old yellow multi-box, it's aged. These things are only good for so many years and so many triggers, okay? And it destroys in terms of the power box. And then we can start to get a few things by that, okay? We've also got our laptop on fire there. Can anyone see the laptop?
Oh, not laptop on fire.
Right. Her here in the rain coming up out of our pot, starting to get pretty hot. So we've got Amy here. Amy is a career firefighter in Christchurch at the airport, and she's also a volunteer here in Ashburton. So Amy's just going to go over, she's just going to check this pot. Let's see how hot it's getting. Right, we're starting to get a bit of smoke building up, okay? So that's been about 3 or 4 minutes. It's starting to get pretty hot. Another minute or two, we're not going to be too much away, okay? So as we were talking before about our kitchen fires, so we need to be careful that if we are going to have these fires, we're not going to try and move it. We're going to leave it in situ, and we're going to show you the next steps. How's that looking now, Amy?
Oh God.
Not too far off.
Chips.
Right, there it is. So it hasn't taken too long to chuck that lid back on. Look at that, it's gone out. That was easy, wasn't it? Didn't even have to move anywhere.
No.
Right, so we've got a couple of things. Right, we talk about the heat triangle, which is how we light a fire. We have heat, oxygen, and fuel. Nice, someone got it. Right, so our fuel's going to be our oil, our heat's coming underneath, and oxygen. When we introduce oxygen to the fire, it ignites, okay? So what we need to do, if we're at home and we think it's a small fire like we have, we're going to suffocate it, okay? We can't take the fuel away, we can't take the heat away just yet, so we're going to smother it and take away the oxygen out of our fire triangle. So if we take that lid off again, this is going to combust.
Oh God. Here we go.
Right, did anyone see any flame there before we opened that lid? No. Was there any flame underneath it getting that going?
Yes.
That was purely started on heat, okay? So what Amy's going to do is she's going to use the lid, like you saw before. We're going to lay it away from us. And that's one way we're going to smother that fire, we're going to leave it. We don't carry it, we call the brigade, okay? 111. We'll take that off again, Amy, and it should start up again. There you go, there's one I prepared earlier. Right, the next option we all have is tea towels, okay?
Oh, no.
Now we don't want a dry tea towel because that's just going to add fuel to the fire, isn't it? Right? So we're going to dampen the tea towel, we're going to wet it down a little bit, we're going to fold it over our knuckles like Amy's going to show you, and we're going to lay the tea towel away from us over the lid. Perfect, nice and easy. Amy, did you get your hands burnt? Of course not, she's wearing the gear, duh. So same thing, peel that off, Amy, let's see if that kicks into gear again. So that's still got that heat in there, doesn't it? Right? So this is showing the importance that when we're laying these across, we're keeping it, we're leaving it, we're calling a brigade, okay? We don't want to see you guys dealing with it. So imagine this is in your kitchen. This is rolling through your kitchen. Your kitchen's got a roof. This is filling with smoke, the heat coming off of that. Can you guys feel the heat down there? Right? Your wall's on fire, your curtain's on fire, your roof's on fire, okay? The other thing we have is an oven tray. Everyone's got an oven tray. Dad probably doesn't know where they are. But we're going to, same principle, okay? We lay it on and we lay it away from us. This one's a little bit warm because it's been heated a few times. But it's not really working that well, is it?
No.
Right, we'll take it off again. So now what we're going to do is Amy's going to demonstrate.
Oh no. Yeah, this one's no. This one's bad no.
Right, everyone saw Alistair take a drink of that, so we know there's no fuel, it's just water. Do you want to taste? No. Right, so this is just water, okay? And this is going to show you what we don't want you to do. Because what happens when we dump water into a hot oil fire, steam is created and it expands and bubbles. And by doing that, it's going to spread the fire, as you guys are going to dramatically see, okay?
Put your
So
helmet on.
Amy, on the count of 3, I want you to dump that water on that fire because we're going to try and put it out and let's see what happens, okay?
No.
Got to count down? 1, 2, 3.
No, that is not.
And we're going to walk out, call 111, okay? We can open a window, we can shut a door, whatever, but firstly we want you guys out of the house because you are not replaceable, the house is, okay? But that shows how quickly these things can escalate through your house. So thank you very much. Thank you, Amy. Thank you, Alistair. Thank you for the turnout. Thank you for coming to the Trip 1 video.
Smiling?
Yes, your heat thing.
Smile. Where do you go, Alex? Smile. Smile. Turn around. Smile.
Quite like fuel.
Hang on, that didn't work.
It's quite cool.
Alright, ready now. Wait. Go, Tyler. Go, Tyler. Do your dance. Tyler. Alright, you gotta say bye. Bye, Ed.
Hello, baby.
It's that bye, then.